Facebook. All right, so I am getting everything set up here. Good evening. My name is Neferititi, and I am a spiritual life coach and mind body fitness professional. And you can find me on the web at onebodywm.wixsite.com. Currently trying to get onto Instagram Live right now, too. But yes, like I said, I'm a spiritual life coach and holistic fitness professional, and I teach yoga and mat Pilates, and I am also a certified plant-based nutrition coach. So I help people with these things over the web. I use tools such as Facebook Live and Skype, and I also do things over the phone. I do meet with some clients in person, but I'm very expensive to meet with in person. So I prefer to meet with my clients via Skype because we can pretty much get the same thing accomplished. So anyways, I am very, very happy to be talking about this topic tonight. And if you like what you hear and you would like to work with me, I can be reached at onebodywm.wixsite.com. The quickest way to reach me, however, and to get information is via email at onebodywm.gmail.com. So let's get right into it. Tonight, I'm going to be discussing the event that everybody has been talking about, this big cosmic shift that everybody's supposed to be going through. Now, I'm going to give you my perspective as a coach because I talk to people that are going through these things, and it's been interesting to hear people's responses and what people are actually experiencing and what we are hearing, from our teachers, from the people that are channeling this information, from our own inner guidance, and from the things that we are experiencing on a personal level. It's always interesting to hear what what people are going through and experiencing. All right, so I think I am live now on Instagram. Okay. So anyways, let's get into some of the what is the event, right? So let's get into some of the details of the event and how it is going to affect you or how it is currently affecting you. So the event on a scientific level is a stream of energy coming from the sun, a stream of solar energy coming from the sun. And it's coming from our galactic center, which is currently in the constellation of Sagittarius, or in the area, astrologically speaking, is in Sagittarius. And this has been called kind of like a galactic activation, or kind of a compression, a breakthrough type of energy. And this is when the light forces basically from above are going to meet in the middle with the light forces from below. And that is going to happen on the surface of our planet. And this is supposed to awaken us to the truth of who we are as a human being and as humans as a whole, right? What our true origin is, how powerful we really are, the value of our emotions, right? Because our emotions are very, very powerful, and certain entities feed off of these emotions, these negative emotions. They feed off the positive ones too, but definitely off of the negative ones. So we want to be mindful of that as we go through our day to day, and keeping our energy high, our vibration high, as much as we possibly can. We all have to deal with challenges and difficulties, especially if we are more aware. I think we become more aware of the negativity that's around us and in the world. We're very sensitive to it. And we need to know how to take care of ourselves and protect ourselves, because we have a mission, we have a purpose. And if we allow ourselves to get distracted by that negativity, which is why it's there, what it's doing is trying to distract you from moving towards the light, from embodying more light. You have to be able to take care of yourself in these kind of situations. And on a cosmic level, well, let me back up. Let me preface this by saying that I do believe that we are not alone in the universe, that there are aliens out there. I mean, if you think about it logically, we have over 100 million, I think it's 100 million known star systems, galaxies that we can see from our vantage point on Earth. And within those galaxies, there's 100 billion stars. So, we would have stupid to believe that we are it. Okay. It just doesn't make any sense logically. We're not even talking about, spiritually and intuitively, which I know it to be true. I know that we are here with other people. We have a galactic family or people or whatever they call themselves, right? But we have a galactic family. We have helpers, guides, teachers, angels. We have a source. Okay, you can call it God, you can call it Jesus, whatever works for you, whatever resonates with you. But we do have these things in place for us. There are things out there that are, or people, entities, spirit guides that are way more evolved than us. They're way more advanced than we are. So we need to be open and receptive to their energies and to their guidance, because they're here to help us and to love us and to help us navigate this whole ascension and this whole awakening. Because for some of us, it's been quite challenging, especially if we were not already on a spiritual path. I'll give you an example. Like my story, I have been on the spiritual path for a while. My actual initiation, awakening, if you will, I believe took place in 2007 when I sat down for a meditation, which I was not a consistent meditator. I've been a yoga practitioner since 2001, but I didn't really start meditating until like 2006, seriously and consistently. And I asked the question, why am I here? What is my purpose? And I heard very clearly that you are a teacher. Now, at the time, I had no idea what that meant. I mean, I was already teaching fitness classes. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm living my purpose. But there was a vague feeling that there was something else that I was supposed to be doing, but I needed to be prepared for it. I heard that very, so like anything else that we're dealing with spirituality and ascension, we only get the next step. We don't typically see the whole picture. We're supposed to trust that everything is supposed to fall into place. We get glimpses of that big picture. We have ideas and intuitive feelings and promptings of what it is that we're supposed to do. But we might not have, like, logically, chronologically, what the next step is. And there's a good reason for that. And I'll explain that later on. So like I said, this event, generally speaking, is about more light coming to our planet, to raise our vibration, to get us out of the darkness. There's a lot that goes into this. I'm currently almost finished with reading The Triumph of the Light by Vidya Frazier. And there's a lot of information that I was already aware of, like the conspiracy. I don't even think they're theories, but the conspiracies that are going on, especially here in the US and in Britain, Great Britain, and all of the cover up and the lies and the fake news and all of the things that they're doing to our food and our water. I mean, just think about it. These are not secrets. This is now this really well-known information that they're poisoning us. That's why I'm vegan. That's why I'm high carb vegan. And I've been a vegan for 10 years. Now, you do what resonates with you, but I just knew when I went vegan back then that that was the next step for me, because I did not want to continue to consume animal products that were killing me. Basically, I mean, that's a whole nother topic, and I would encourage you to do some research on it, because I think that it's very, very relevant, especially now that we are keeping our bodies functioning at an optimal level. Okay. So let's talk about some of the maybe kind of stretchy, far out there beliefs and explanations surrounding this event. Okay. First of all, we need to have an open mind. We need to have an open mind, and we need to be able to look at everything objectively and see if it resonates with us. We shouldn't be closing things off, because now we're starting to see, especially with that knuckle dragging buffoon that we have in the White House, how bad things can really get. Okay, so it's very, very important for us to be open to possibilities and opportunities and alternative ways of doing and being. Okay. So, having said that, I do believe that a part of this ascension, this event, involves our galactic family coming to help us. So that means the aliens, that means the Andromedans, that means the Arcturians. These are all beings, entities that have been channeling through certain human beings and coming to our planet for a very long time, probably even before we got here. But I know for a fact, and other people have channeled this information and it resonates with me. So I believe it to be true that these entities, these beings are here to help us. Now, society, the powers that be, the Illuminati, the cabal, whatever you want to call them, they've done a very, very good job at making us believe that aliens are scary, that aliens are dangerous, that they're here to hurt us, that they're here to do all kinds of weird experiments on us, which there are some alien races that have that agenda. That is absolutely true. You know, there are some that are benevolent and there are some that are malevolent. And they want to use us for their gain, right? So they're, doing all kinds of weird shit, kidnapping children. I believe, and this is just my thinking, just based on my putting things together, that the Vatican, which has been linked to the malevolent aliens and the races of those aliens that are here to enslave us and to keep us stuck in our fear paradigm, because that's what they feed off of. They feed off of our fear energy. They feed off of our negativity. It's their food, literally. Okay. So I believe that they're here to help us. The ones that are malevolent, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, they're here to kind of make us more aware. They're here to send us positive energy, to give us energy boosts, and to help us to understand and to learn and to evolve. But Earth, the planet Earth, as far as I've heard through channelings, is basically under a galactic quarantine. So there's this grid around the Earth, which is keeping us kind of contained because there is so much negativity on this planet. And I've heard that our planet, along with other planets in the solar system, act as a whole energy unit. And it makes sense if you think about our human body and the cells. Our bodies are like a mini universe, right? So as above, so below. And I believe that. So with Earth being in quarantine, it's affecting the entire universe on an energetic level, which is why I think all of these people, all of these beings, all of these entities are here to help us, because they see our potential and they also understand that our livelihood, our well-being, our peace, our happiness, our joy is a part of their what's the word I'm looking for? It's a part of what they're about. It's a part of the whole universe, right? And so it's affecting everyone and everything. So that's why there's so many alien races here, and there's so many of them that are interested in us, because there's a lot of, from what I understand, a lot of these alien races, not a lot of them, but some of them don't have the kind of connections that we do with one another. The love that a mother and child has, like, the love I have for my son, the love that you have for your lover or for your kids or for your friends and family. Those kind of connections do not exist everywhere, right? And there's a lot of richness in those emotions. There's a lot of energy in those emotions. And so they're interested in that. And some of those alien races are also here to use that energy for their selfish gain and to enslave us and to keep us kind of dumbed down so that they can have more power and get more negativity to feed themselves. Okay. But like I said, we have lots of help. And I would encourage you to connect with your spirit guides, to connect to your source, to connect to whoever it is that you talk to on a daily basis, especially now when we're dealing with so much intense energy. It's very, very important for people to connect to themselves, to their higher self. And why not? The help is here. So why would you not take advantage of that? And it doesn't have to be this big, hoopla, lighting candles. And if you do that, all that's fine. If that's the way you honor spirit, I do that. But I'm just letting you know that it's not necessary if you want to connect, right? They're waiting. They're waiting for us to call on them and ask for help with whatever it is that we need, from the simple, mundane, everyday things to the more complex, mental, emotional, spiritual issues that we have to deal with as human beings. They're here to help. Okay. And as far as the event goes, I've heard different situations and stories around that. Like Allison Cole, she thinks that it's going to be an event that everybody sees and it's going to happen, at once. Everybody's going to see it simultaneously. And then after that, it's going to be kind of a slow integration and a slower type of growth and being elevated as we move through the different pieces of ourselves once this new energy comes to the planet. I've heard other channelers say that the event has already happened, that we are actually going to go through some mini events, if you will, as more and more of this energy comes to the planet. We're going to start to shift into different realities, into different vibrational levels of being. And I can just tell you, for me, for example, this actually relates to what I heard Chiron, one of his messages regarding the event. He gave a good example about, how we don't, and I talked about this earlier, so I'm going to talk about it now, how we view time in a linear perspective, right? So we, know that our rent is due on this date. We have this appointment at this time. We have to be here on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. The way spirit or higher levels of consciousness, the way that they view time is that it's cyclical and it's concurrent. So that's, we as in this 3D reality, we can't wrap our heads around that everything is happening concurrently. So what that means is anything that you want, anything that you need, it's already here because everything is happening at the same time, right? Time is just our way of carving up the oneness. Time is an essential component of this 3D reality that we live in. And so it made really good sense when he said that to me, or to everybody he was channeling to, but it just made really good sense to me that they would see things that way. Because if we've all heard to, when we're focused on manifesting something, to believe that we already have it. Even the Bible says that, believe that, Jesus said that anyways, I believe he said that. We believe he said that, right? But Jesus said that, believe that you have received it and ye shall have it. So we have to act like it's already here, because it really is. Whatever it is that you want is already here somewhere in this reality, right? Otherwise, you couldn't want it. You wouldn't even desire it if you hadn't seen it or had the idea kind of transmuted to you, through your consciousness. Like, yeah, this is what I want. It already exists somewhere because you want it, right? And it's, like I said, it's a hard concept to wrap your mind around, but it is true. Everything, think about it, things that you've wanted, even simple things like a cup of coffee or, I don't know, a pair of shoes or something like that. You just go out and get it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, but we think that, oh, it's too big, or, one unfortunate belief that a lot of my clients have, and I had, is that we don't think that we deserve what it is that we want and need. We don't think we deserve the life that we want. And that takes a lot of inner work, which is a huge part of this shift, is working on yourself, okay? Trusting yourself. And I personally have moved away from the church. I did that years ago, though, only because I feel like, for me, it personally kept me from going inside and asking those very important questions to myself and learning to trust myself. Now, I'm not opposed to church. If that's how you honor God and that is something that feels good to you, by all means. But I believe that you can still go to church and love God and worship God in the way that you do, but also have a relationship with yourself and your higher self, and learning to trust yourself and your intuitive promptings. That is very, very important during this time. Our intuition is heightened. It's getting stronger. We're more sensitive. So we have access to information that we didn't have access to before. And we can learn to pull that energy in and integrate it and improve our lives, make changes to our lives. But it does require some inner work. It does require some courage. It requires some discipline. Things that, especially in the spiritual community, we sometimes kind of overlook. Everything's all airy fairy, hoity toity, but there is a very practical side to this. Okay, there is a very practical personal responsibility side to this, and which includes managing your energy, and that includes educating yourself. It includes learning to trust yourself, right? Whatever that means for you, learning to trust your and not relying on other people or even other channelers or things like that to give you information, which basically we already know, right? We already know on some level when we talk to these people and, we listen to them, channel to us or other people. When we hear something that resonates with us, it's not because it's new information. It's because it's information that we are remembering, right? They're just kind of reminding us of who we are. That's what this whole ascension is about. It's about a remembering, us waking up and remembering who we are. And I think this process is different for everyone. The speed at which it happens is different for everyone. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And like I mentioned before, some of these changes are very subtle. Some of them are major. I've talked to some people who have, some of my coaching clients who have gone through some major transformations and rapidly, like within a week, they're in a completely different space. And then I've talked to some other clients of mine, and they are gradually going through the shift. A lot of them are dealing with resistance too, because when you are raising your vibration, when you're moving to another level of being, there are things in your life that have to go only because they do not vibrate at that level, right? So they will just fall away. Now, we can't get caught up in the details, and we do, because separation is painful, right? It's a process that none of us likes to go through, even if it's something that we want to do. It's not something that the process in and of itself is not something that is easy for us to do, right? But it's going to happen. And I feel like, and this is what I tell my coaching clients, that it's better for you to do it, because then you have control over your shift. You're you're co-creating with the universe, and you're making a conscious effort to make those changes. Or you can allow things to happen to you, because you are going to evolve. We are going to evolve. It's just that simple. And you can just, kind of sit back and let things kind of happen. If you're used to dealing with things like that, that's fine. But it could be a situation where you do allow something to happen and it's totally just a clusterfuck. So now you've got to deal with panic. And you've got to deal with a lot more fear and a lot more trepidation, when you could have just trusted your intuition and moved forward, knowing that you're supported, knowing that separation is not easy, right? We have to stop thinking about spirituality and ascension and all of this as easy and peaceful. It is not. It is a tearing away of who you used to be, right? So you want to think of this as like the moth emerging from the cocoon. If you've ever watched that, I remember in the 4th grade, I watched a moth, coming out of a cocoon at a museum, or not a museum, but at a bug sanctuary or something. And I just remember that poor butterfly or moth or whatever it was, struggling to get out of that cocoon. I mean, it must have taken him at least 2 hours to get out of there. And we walked around, we came back and watched him, and we walked around the little sanctuary, and every now and then he'd get still because he was tired, I guess. And then he'd start again. He'd get still, he'd start again. And then he had to get out of the cocoon. Once he got out, his wings had to dry. He had to stretch his wings. Then he had to learn how to fly. Okay. So are you picking up what I'm laying down here? It's a process, and it's not always an easy one. There is some, I don't like to use the word suffering, because we only suffer when we're really attached to things. But there is a struggle. There is a resistance that comes up in us sometimes. And, that's all being dissolved right now with this energy. Literally, this light coming to our planet is dissolving that resistance. So it may be that your mind hasn't caught up yet, but your heart and your soul are moving forward. And so you might feel this tug of war, right? Between the old you, who you used to be, which was comfortable, right? Which was, you're just kind of floating through life doing your thing. But now you're really being challenged to upgrade on all levels. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. It's simple, but not easy. But that's why I'm here and other coaches. And don't think that because we have this information that we can convey it to you in a way that you can understand. Don't think that we are immune to any of this energy. I get a kick in the pants too. There's things that I need to work on too. That's why I'm here with you on this Earth School planet, right? And you learn 90% of what you teach. So don't think that any of us are immune. We all have our own struggles and difficulties. And I think even as teachers, our struggles are a little more intense sometimes because we can handle more, because we not only have to deal with our struggles and our challenges on a day-to-day basis, but we have to help our clients work through theirs. So I think we even have more learning and lots more acceleration of that learning than most people. That's why there's a saying that says many teachers, if not all of them, will experience dark nights of the soul, because it's a part of the process. When we are able to move beyond our pain and our challenges and our suffering, we allow other people to do the same thing because they're watching us, they're learning from our positive example as to how to handle situations in life. And we don't always succeed, but to the best of our ability, we try. And I think that energy always gets conveyed as, maybe this didn't work out, but, I feel her drive. I feel her motivation. Or maybe they don't. Some people are very challenged by growth because, like I said, they're comfortable. And they not only are challenged within themselves, but they're challenged when other people around them try to grow. Okay. And that is something that you don't have any control over. If they don't want to move forward, there's nothing that you can do. They'll have to go through their own process, their own challenges, their own whatever, but they will evolve eventually, but it might not be at the speed that you do. Okay. And so let's move on. Let's talk about some of these symptoms that people are experiencing, especially now in this month of April, which is when I'm recording this video, this live stream. Lots of people are experiencing heightened and accelerated ascension symptoms. So these are like the random headaches or, the random getting sick, the ringing in the ears, the psychic connections that you have with people, right? You know what somebody's going to say before they say it, or when a friend is going through something and you give them a call and say, hey, I had you on my mind. Is everything okay? And they tell you, actually, no, it's not okay. I'm glad you called. Those types of things are happening more and more. These synchronicities, these coincidences, people are connecting to each other, right? So I guess I wouldn't call that a symptom. That's more of a benefit because other races, alien races, and, we'll call them our galactic family. Other members of our galactic family, they already communicate this way. They communicate telepathically. And I think we're learning to do that, but there's lots of things that are holding us back from that. Like I said, the food that we eat, the things that they put in our food, it's not an accident. Like, for example, the fluoride that's in the drinking water has been scientifically proven to affect your pineal gland. Your pineal gland is what the ancient seers said, your third eye, is where your psychic abilities are housed, where this ability to telepathically connect to other entities within our planet without that gets dumbed down, right? But there's things that you can do to kind of help you to decalcify your pineal gland and to strengthen your psychic abilities. There's lots of things that you can do, and we'll talk about some of those in just a moment. So some other symptoms are insomnia, because I have a client right now, she's dealing with that. I can't sleep. Well, maybe, and this is what I told her, maybe it's because this is the only time that spirit can talk to you because you're so busy, you're so caught up in your ego tripping and your life and everything that's going on. You don't make time to get quiet. And it really resonated with her because she doesn't. And some of us need more than others, right? You might be doing your little 5 minutes a day, but that might not be enough right now because this energy is so intense and more of it is coming to the planet. So you might need to up your spiritual practices. That's just my opinion. I certainly have. Um, I'm very intuitive, I'm sensitive. So for me, this upping my spiritual practices has been a really grounding thing for me because I can really get into my head. Okay. And I'm a Sagittarius. That's kind of weird. And I have no air in my chart. I don't know what that's about. But, anyways, other symptoms might include the separation of friends and family. Now, I get it. You love your family, you love your friends, and you think, blood is thicker than water. But I'm here to tell you, you came into this world alone and you're going to leave alone, first of all. Secondly, not all family members and friends ascend together. Everybody's on their own journey. So if you have a friend or family member that has chosen to stay in the dark for now, that has chosen to accept this 3D reality as their reality, and this is what they want, and this is what it's going to be, then you're going to have to make a very painful, difficult decision to separate from them because you have a mission, you have a purpose if you're a light worker. And, we all have a purpose, but especially light workers, especially now, we're being activated. So you cannot afford to let your self-worth issues or your preconceived notions about how the family dynamic, how you guys are supposed to connect, you cannot allow those things to stop you from your spiritual growth and development and from your ascension. It won't stop you. It will just hinder you a little bit. It'll keep you in this frustration and quiet desperation. I had to make some very painful decisions. I had to separate from some family and friends because they're just not on my path. And the more and more I get distracted, the more frustrated I get, the more things don't work in my life. Because if you're not doing what it is that you're meant to do, and I'm not just talking about your job or occupation, you do what you have to, I guess, to earn a living. But lots of people are miserable at their jobs because they know they have a higher purpose, they have a higher plan, but they're so concerned about how am I going to make ends meet if I do this? I was there, okay? I know what it's like. I'm a single mother. I know what it's like to wonder, like, how am I going to make this work? I can't do this kind of work. It's not going to make me any money. But what we have to realize is, again, spirit does not think in linear terms. What we need and what we want is already here. All we have to do is become a vibrational match to it. And that means getting back in touch with yourself. However that works for you. Practicing self-love, practicing forgiveness. That's a huge one. Not forgiving because you want that other person's approval, but forgiving because you want to release that energy. You want to release that situation because it's blocking the flow. Okay? So we know what the shift is now. We know that it's both scientific, right? Cosmic energy, solar flares, and solar energy coming to this planet at an accelerated rate. We know on a spiritual level that this is light energy and that it's coming to activate us, to raise us up to another level of being so that we can move into our place in the universal galactic family. I don't want to be under quarantine. I don't like the idea that there are ruling elites controlling, every aspect of what goes on this planet, on a global scale, like the wars and the financial system and all of these different things. I mean, so many people live in absolute poverty. I posted a statistic on my Instagram. 82% of starving children live in countries where we are producing food for animals here. That is fucking ridiculous. So we're going to let those babies starve so that we can feed these nasty, hormone-filled, genetically modified, engineered animals that are not healthy for you. And you know it. This is not a secret anymore. We know that animal products are not good for us. They cause disease in the body. That, coupled with our emotional state, is a recipe of food that you eat, coupled with your bad emotional state, is a recipe for disaster. Okay? So let's talk about some of the things that you can do to help you through this awakening, through this shift. I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tips that I think will definitely help. Number 1 is going to be meditation. Meditation in any form, way that you like. And I talked about meditation on here. I have a video on Periscope and I believe on YouTube Live. If not, I'm going to put it up there. But meditation is what keeps us connected to spirit. It keeps us fully connected to our guides, to our intuition. And there's lots and lots of ways to meditate. I encourage you, like I said, to watch my video on meditation and to do some research and put meditation into action. If you don't like meditating, there's other ways to do it, right? You don't have to sit down and close your eyes and focus on your breath if that's not what you're into. I would strongly suggest that, but you could also take a long walk, get into the garden, ride your bike, put together model airplanes, whatever it is, sewing, putting makeup on your face and washing it off, whatever puts you in that state of allowing, that state of bliss. To me, that's meditation too, because you're allowing information to come to you. You're in a state where you're not resisting anything. So that's lots of potential for your guides and angels and teachers and your higher self to come in and give you answers, right? I read, I think, yes, in Sonia Choquette's book, Trust Your Vibes, that when you ask a question to your spirits, your angels, your teachers, God, Goddess, whomever you speak to, if you don't get an answer right away, it will come within 2 hours. Okay, so try that out, right? It may not come at all, which means that the answer's already available to you. That's my opinion. But I would encourage you to try meditation, to go within, closing your eyes, taking deep breaths, sitting up, laying down, however you want to meditate, but definitely do it, especially now and every single day. I've read articles, you can meditate 4 days a week. No, this darkness, this energy, this ascension, light energy, both of these are here all the time, every day. So why would you not engage in meditation every day? Even if you don't do it for a long period of time every day, I think that it needs to be every day, meditation every day. Intuition and psychic development is my second tip. And there's lots of books available for psychic development. You can go to a workshop, you can hire a coach. But meditation will help you with psychic development. Trusting your gut and your intuition will help you with psychic development. There's certain crystals like amethyst and lapis lazuli, demordiorite. Did I pronounce that right? Demordiorite and labradorite. Those are 4 crystals that will help you with psychic development, especially demordiorite and amethyst. Those 2 together, that is a very, very powerful pair for psychic development. You'll start to notice your awareness increasing very quickly. And you'll notice what type of psychic power is strongest within you, whether you're clairvoyant, you see things, you see energy, or you're clairaudient, you hear energy. That's me. I hear a lot of energy. I'm also very claircognizant. I know energy. So that could go in a couple of different ways. Claircognizant people can sense when others are sick, but they can also sense when there's darkness in someone and when their intentions are not at a high level. Okay, so that's the kind of claircognizant, intuitive that I am. I can sense when people are operating from a dark place. Okay, And then there's other ones, claircambience, clear smelling, um, clairsentience, clear feeling. So that's when you are, let's say you go to a house and it's haunted, and you can, feel the energy in that house. You can feel what happened if something, especially if there was trauma. I believe that traumatic events leave an energetic imprint of some sort, just because the energy is so heavy. So I think that people that are clairsentient can actually go into these environments and feel that energy, like the actual experience of whatever happened. If somebody was murdered, they might feel like they got shot, or if somebody was beaten. That's a horrible way of looking at it, but that is, the best way to explain clairsentience. Okay. And I think that we all have all of these abilities to a certain degree, but certain ones are stronger. And I would encourage you to develop the stronger ones, because they are going to be of benefit to you, especially as we're going through this time of heightened sensitivity. We need to be aware of what people's intentions are, and whether or not we should go to that event, or we should go to the store right now, or whether or not we should go to work this day or go anywhere. Like, we have to be able to trust our intuition and psychic abilities to lead us and to guide us, right? Because that's what they're here for. That's why we've been given that tool. Okay. Wearing crystals is my third tip. And I already mentioned a couple that you can use. Amethyst, especially right now, I think is an all-purpose crystal for this Ascension event, because it's going to provide you with psychic protection. Okay. So, from yourself, from all the thoughts that are swirling around in your head because of all the energy that's present, and, protection from other people's negativity. It's very, very easy now, if you're not protecting yourself in some way, to absorb other people's negative energy, right? Especially if you're in a situation where it's a crowded train or in a store or something like that. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know if they're protecting themselves. You don't even know if they're people at all. They could be something else, right? But they could be throwing off this energy, and then all of a sudden you're upset. You're depressed and you don't even know why. Like, what the fuck is going on? I was okay earlier. It could be that you absorbed something from somebody else. So, take measures to protect yourself, and wearing crystals is one way. Psychic protection, that's my fourth tip. I already mentioned that a little bit, but you can, if you don't like crystals, if that's not for you, you can call on Archangel Michael. He's the archangel. He's like the head honcho, right? But his energy is very protective. You can call on him and ask him to surround you with his loving blue shield or white shield, whatever color resonates with you. But surround me with your protection and your love and your guidance. And you can ask Archangel Michael to cut etheric cords, negative etheric cords that are attached to you from past hurts, relationships, traumas, anything that is preventing you from ascending, right, as quickly as you could, because that's what this energy is asking us to do. I feel like a lot of people, and even my clients, are going through an accelerated period of healing. So lots of stuff is coming up. So not only do you need protection from other people, but you need protection from yourself, so that this energy comes up, so that you can deal with it, and that it can be integrated or released, but not reabsorbed as it is, right? So I'm talking about alchemy here. All right. Changing something into something else, healing and transmutation. And the angels are phenomenal at this, but you have to turn it over to them. You have to turn over your fears and anxieties and let them heal those, and then return that energy to you so that you can integrate it. And what I mean by integration is understanding the lesson. If it was something that you went through that was challenging, and a lot of people are going through some things right now, because like I said, this energy is bringing up anything that is unlike itself. You can't fit love and lack of love in the same place. You just can't do it. So this is easier for some people, more challenging for others, especially if they're resisting, especially if you feel like this is a bunch of mumbo jumbo and people are crazy if they're talking about this, and these are a bunch of weirdos and crooks and charlatans, which I don't disagree. There are a lot of weirdos and crooks and charlatans in this industry, but if you're dealing with somebody that's authentic. You might not want to admit it because you don't want to look foolish, especially if you're giving this person money, but you know on some level whether or not you're talking to somebody that has your best interest, at the fore, that is here to truly serve humanity and not serve themselves, right? So you need to be aware of that. My fifth tip is going to be to drink lots of water. I'm personally trying to drink at least 3 liters to a gallon a day. That's how much I normally drink. Sometimes I slip up. So I'm really, really making a point to make it a priority. And water is not only good for, hydration and removing waste from your body, but if you think about it from an energetic standpoint and from a physiological standpoint, really, our bodies are made up of 80% water, and the moon affects tides. So it also affects the water within us. And I also believe that the more hydrated we are in our bodies, the more light we can hold. We have to remember that our body is what holds the memories, okay? Our body is what holds the memory of who we are, who we really are. And it houses our spirit while we're on this planet. So you need to take care of your body. And at the foundation of any program, vegan, non-vegan, whatever it is, the foundation of any program is hydration. You must drink enough water, enough clear, clean water, right? So that you can be thinking clearly because your brain is made up of 80% water, and so that you can feel that free flow through your body, working at an optimum level because it's hydrated, everything is juiced up, and you can absorb more light, okay? The sixth tip is going to be to spend more time in nature. Spiritual people, really spiritual practitioners know this, that they go to nature to get healing. And I don't care if it's just a little patch of grass in the front of your house, but get out and spend some time in nature, looking up at the stars, looking at the sky, at the sun, allowing yourself to walk barefoot through the grass and hugging trees and all those different things, sitting by water and listening to it flow by. These are all very healing things that you can do. And they keep you connected to what is real, right? To what the beauty of this planet. And when you're in nature and you're looking at trees growing and grass growing, it's really a miracle, right? It's a miracle that you can have this big, gigantic oak tree from one tiny little seed, right? And it's a good reminder to us that we too can manifest on those grand levels. But all we need is that seed, and the seed is your thinking, right? So spending time in nature helps you to remember that you can create something out of nothing. Okay. That's one of the universe's favorite things to do, or what we perceive as nothing, right? Because nothing is really something, but we basically don't have what we want. So we think that we're producing something from nothing, but that's not true. What you wanted was already here somewhere, even if it was something that was in somebody's mind and they built it for you or whatever. It was here on some level. Okay. Another tip number 7, is to disconnect from the energy vampires. I did a video on energy vampires. It's on Periscope, and I believe it's on YouTube Live too. But energy vampires they can be a couple of different types of people. So they are, number one, people that choose to not work on their own energy for whatever reason. They're resisting it. They don't want to evolve. They don't want to believe that I've been going to church for 25 years and it's all bullshit, or I don't want to believe that I have access to God just like any priest or anything like that. I don't want to believe that I'm not supposed to go to this particular building on this particular day. But I think if you were to really admit it, it does not resonate with you anymore. There's too many things that have proven those theories to be false, or theories. I don't want to use that word, but the stories of the Bible. I heard Cryon say that we're supposed to interpret these as true metaphors and not literal, because that is how the universe speaks to us, is in metaphors, because we're not, they're not linear like we are. They're very expansive. They're holistic, these beings. So we need to embrace that and know that, even if we don't understand it, that we have access to these energies as well. But energy vampires drain your energy. So you won't have the tenacity, the determination to push forward, right? Because they've stolen your energy, and you need the energy to do your meditations, to do your spiritual life work, to do your intuitive work, to do your light working. You need that energy. It's yours. And so that's where the cord cutting will come in handy, calling on Archangel Michael. There's lots of meditations on YouTube. Some of them are, a little complicated, which I just don't think it needs to be that way. Right? I think the universe is going to respond to our vibration. So it doesn't matter what we do. If those things resonate with you, if you like a big ceremonial, type situation, and you want to do this whole meditation and light a billion candles, that's fine. I do that sometimes too, like I mentioned earlier. But we have to understand that our intention is everything. So if you're somebody who doesn't have all these things, you don't have all the candles and the crystals and the whatever, you can still connect, right? Sit down, close your eyes. Dear God, Goddess, angels, teachers, guides, whomever it is you want to talk to, what is it that I need to know? Support me, help me, help me, help me to get through this day, help me to get through the next 5 minutes. So these are our guides are here to help us, okay? And energy vampires are here to drain us. And I don't care who they are, friends, family members, co-workers, your job, situations. These things need to come out of your life right now, okay? Or in a reasonable amount of time, because you have a job to do and you can't do it when somebody or something is sucking your energy, right? You just can't. And my last tip is going to be to avoid all of the fear-based energy and information that's out there circulating about this event. It's not going to be necessary for you to have 2 weeks worth of food and water in your house and to gas up your car every time it's on half a tank. You probably should do those things just because they're good practice. But I certainly wouldn't want my clients or anyone else to do these things because they're afraid, right? Because what are you doing? You're feeding the negative energy, because that's what they feed off of. So if you're coming from this place of fear, like, oh my God, the world's going to end, it's going to be like Revelation. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, but we do feel the energy. We know what's happening to us on a personal level. And so that's what we need to focus on, focusing on our healing, focusing on our work, focusing on the light work and how we can be of service to humanity through using our talents and our gifts and our abilities that we've been developing for lifetimes. For lifetimes. We are all, anybody that this event is resonating with, we are all very well prepared to go through whatever it is that's going to happen, right? We're prepared. We've been preparing for a long time. And that's how the universe works. We go through these things and then we start reading these books and watching these videos, listening to the audio blogs and the podcasts, and we get all this information. Like me, for example, when I started doing all of this work in 2007, I was listening to audiobooks all day, every day, reading, doing all these meditations, not really knowing why. Like, why am I doing all of this? Why do I all of a sudden have an interest in this type of information? And I know now because I'm a spiritual coach and I'm here to help people go through this whole ascension process, this whole awakening. And there are lots of us out here, and there's a lot more of us that are needed, because so many people are content with living in the fear paradigm. We're living within this third dimension. They don't want anything to change because they're comfortable. And even if they are dealing with pain, they're at least used to that pain. They know what that entails, right? So they're not trying to have more trouble, more problems. The issue is that these energies are coming to the planet whether you like it or not. So you might as well do the work on yourself to make this easier transition and process for you. And you have lots of tools to use more than ever before. You've got coaches like me, you've got tools on YouTube, on Instagram, you've got people that are awakening around you that can talk to you that may be a little bit further along than you are, so they can really anticipate some of the challenges that you might have or are currently having. And we're all meant, this is a collective effort, because we have a lot of darkness on this planet, a lot of it. And it's going to take each and every one of us, light workers, star seeds, indigo children, all of us, to balance the scales, to get us back to a place of being fully enlightened and enjoy peace, love, our struggles, because we've been conditioned to believe that this is a part of our reality and that this is something that we have to be a part of. And I don't agree with that. I believe that if you move to another level of being, that those lower vibrations cannot get to you because they're not on your level. Now, there is that whole saying, new level, new devil, which I also agree with. And I agree with that only in the sense that, we deal with challenges. And then as we go deeper, we're dealing with more challenges, deeper stuff, deep rooted stuff, which is very challenging because it affects us on a subconscious level and it dictates all of our behavior. And we don't understand why we're doing what we're doing, but we're doing it anyway. So that's what that's about. Okay. So again, just to go through these tips: meditation, intuition and psychic development, crystal protection, wearing crystals, drinking lots of water, spending time in nature, disconnecting from energy vampires, and avoiding any fear-based information. Okay. So I hope that this video was helpful. Check out my workouts that I do on Periscope, 11 o'clock on Saturdays. And these will start next Saturday. I don't know what the date is next Saturday, but not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. And I'm going to put a little flyer up and post it so you guys know. And I will be doing this live show on Thursdays at 7:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I might add another show in the future. Let's just see. I've got a lot of coaching and stuff I'm doing right now, but I'm definitely going to see you at 7:45 on Thursday nights so we can talk about these things and support one another. So if you have any questions at all, you can email me at onebodywm.wixsite.com. Please follow me on Instagram at onebodywellness1111, or you can follow me at Yogi Mama Neff. My Yogi Mama Neff channel is more about fitness and yoga, Pilates, kettlebell, plant-based nutrition. And the One Body Wellness 1111 channel or Instagram page is about these topics: ascension, astrology, crystals, meditation, aliens, higher self, those types of topics. Okay. So again, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you at my next show. We're going to be talking about astrology and what's going on. So have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are. Peace and blessings. And namaste to you. Love y'all very, very much. And let's ascend and keep hope alive.